myself on the page. Oh, well, I guess we'll need to proceed without. We'll just wait until Ivan gets back and then we'll proceed either way.
All right, I'm back. All right, perfect.
Okay, good deal. Okay, let's just go ahead and get this started. There you are, Ivan. Just to kick it off, and I really hate that we can't do the Facebook. Maybe it'll show up in a minute. There's a lag. But I know I'm hearing myself. I need to turn it off. Sorry again.
You see, I can mute myself. Maybe that might work.
Okay, now I've only got Zoom up. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about a community mural, our first big mural, which is will be a 25-foot by 98-foot mural behind the Princess Theater. And our kind of plan is, and this is the kickoff, and we'll talk about creative placemaking and other things, but this is kind of the kickoff to really deck out the alley in murals and make that a space that everybody in the county and in the region starts to come to and say, oh, wow, have you seen those beautiful murals in South Pittsburg? And our first mural, we want to involve the community to get your feedback on what you would like to see. So as we're doing this meeting tonight, if you're on Zoom, you can go down to chat and click chat and add your comments. And we're going to pose questions to you. We're going to introduce everybody first, but then we're going to pose questions to you. You'll be able to comment, and then we'll quantify those comments later. And Ivan, whom we'll meet in a moment, will go away from the meeting and come back on the 22nd, I think, with, I'll have to look that up. But he'll come back with a couple of sketches, and then we'll put it back out to the community via social media as a poll for an A/B choice. Do you like this one or do you like that one? So that's what we're doing tonight. I want to give Carrie and Walker a moment to speak about Spark. Just so you know, Spark is the 501c3 that Arts in the Bird lives on. So if you think about a college and its art department, that's our relationship. Okay, Carrie?
Sure. So thanks everybody for coming out tonight. I'm super excited. You know, we've done a couple community activities, but they've been more via survey, or we had our first event pre-COVID. So we've been trucking along and really trying to make things happen while we were all at home. And so Spark started at the end of 2019. And there were a number of us who were on the heels of the Cornbread Festival and a Brew Fest. And we just had the feeling that we could do more on a regular basis. And we just knew that we needed to figure out what those things were. And so the group got together and said, okay, we know we want to revitalize. So Spark means South Pittsburg Area Revitalization Quest. We wanted to revitalize our area. And so as part of that, we decided to focus, and we focused on areas of beautification, arts and beautification. We knew that was a model for really lifting up towns that's across the country. That's a model. And then economic development. I think we all know we'd love more restaurants or different stores to come and enhance the great businesses that we already have. And then events and marketing. Those are also strengths of our town, is that we love to gather together. So it is those three things that we started to focus on. And then in the middle of that, we came upon a grant through the Thriving Communities program, and it's funded by the Tennessee Arts Commission and through the Tennessee Placemaking Partnership. And so in the middle of COVID, we started applying, and we said, we know when we come out of this thing, we want to do something big. And that's where the mural that we're here to talk about tonight came from. We were awarded the grant, and thank you so much to them for doing that. They are funding $10,000 towards the mural and this event. And the event, what better thing to celebrate than Arts in the Berg, which Dale was just telling you about. I can hear you. My husband's got his phone on and I can hear it in the background. Sorry. So Arts in the Berg being an arts incubator that we're bringing here to South Pittsburg, and Dale came to Spark and was already involved in Spark and said, hey, I think this is perfect. This is like the flagship project. We're doing a number of different things, but let's do something big. And we said, heck yeah, let's do it. Supporting artists is part of what we want to do, and celebrating that and the beginnings of that this year, coming out of what we've all been through, is a pretty special thing. So that kind of gives you the lay of the land of Spark and Arts in the Berg. And Walker, what did I miss?
I think you covered it.
Oh, I want to add.
I'll hand it off to Dale now.
I want to add that because it's really important, and I missed it early on, but it's the Tennessee Arts Commission, but it was because of our involvement in the Thrive Partnership, which used to be Thrive 2055. And I think they just go by Thrive Partners now, which is a 16 county area around Chattanooga. And Marion County is in that. So we had been talking to Thrive for a couple of years. And through that relationship, we were able to get the grant. And then also with Tennessee, Southeast Tennessee Development and the Lyndhurst Foundation. So those are all important people to note in that process. And so they are funding the mural and a portion of the entertainment, which we'll be making announcements about for our launch party on June 26th. So with that, Ivan, would you like to talk about yourself a little bit and tell us what you do and why it's important to you?
Yeah, definitely. So hello, everyone. My name is Ivan Roque. I'm an artist based out of Miami, Florida. I met Dale through some friends of mine when I painted out in Manchester, Tennessee. And that was, I'm trying to think, that's my second mural in Tennessee. My first one was in Chattanooga, actually, for a small mural festival known as Burning Bridges. And, since then, I loved going to Tennessee, went to Ruby Falls, loved the nature aspect of it. And definitely when I painted in Manchester, it was a great experience. I went as well to go see also to some of the distilleries around town and learn about that culture as well. And also the barbecue, and from what I've seen, Tennessee has definitely been very warm and welcoming. And also I got to see Nashville and try the hot chicken and also listen to some country music. So it was definitely a great experience, and it's a huge honor to be able to go to South Pittsburg and create a piece for the great people of South Pittsburg. A lot of the work I've done, I'm very fortunate to be able to have traveled across the United States. As of now, I have murals in about 10 different states, and also in about 4 different countries. So it definitely, fortunately, to be able to go a long way with this, and I'm glad to be able to work with you guys.
Well, we want to thank you too, Ivan, because I know we're a new 501c3, and even though we had a grant, you adjusted your price, and I probably shouldn't announce that to everybody, but we're very grateful for you making it, being able to do it for us. Of course. Yeah. So we're excited about having you here, and we're going to document the process. So maybe that'll be something you can use as well. So let's just go ahead and I want to talk a little bit about creative placemaking. And I know that's like a buzzword that not everybody's familiar with, and none of us were up until about a year or so ago. I spoke at a creative placemaking convention about 2 years ago, and I don't think I knew what I was talking about then. So I want to share with you a couple of good examples of creative placemaking. I was trying to think today of what might be something near to us. And if you think about what Chattanooga was before the aquarium. So Chattanooga had an identity crisis. I mean, it had some things failing. It had old Coca-Cola money. It had Ruby Falls and some of those the incline, some of those old things, but it needed a fresh look. So the community came together and decided to do the aquarium. And it is perfect creative placemaking because it took the tide to the river and the responsibility, stewardship to the river, and said, how can we make something that's about Chattanooga that will revive downtown, and also pull in the community, so and make it a tourist destination. And that's exactly what, if you remember Chattanooga before the aquarium and after the aquarium, that is what creative placemaking is. And it was true to the sense of the town and to the nature. Also in Paducah, Kentucky, they did a similar thing several years ago. They had a crime-ridden area that was called Lower Town, with 70% vacancies. And then they started a similar thing that we're doing now with a group. And in 2007, they had $200 million in annual tourism instead of a 70% vacancy. And then I guess just to bring it home, the best example of creative placemaking is when you get up and you look in the mirror and you decide who you want to be. You decide how your hair wants to look, what your makeup, your clothes you wear, the house you live in. And as you expand that out into your community, the community you choose to live in, and what that community looks like, and what you gravitate to in that community, and all the surroundings, that's creative placemaking. So when you put yourself on every morning, that's creative placemaking. You're creating your place in the community. So that's what we want to convey in this mural. So as we move forward, we're going to challenge you to comment. We've got a few questions. Walker, you want to ask a few of the questions? You came up with some really great ideas to get a conversation going about what they'd like to see in a mural.
Yeah, sure. When we approach this process, I don't think we need to here on this Zoom meeting sit here and design the mural by committee. This initial meeting is more just to get some themes drawn out, some inspiration, listen for concepts, and see if there's something that bubbles to the surface that Ivan can then go put into his creative brain and make it into something visual. So we thought we'd kind of just ask you guys some open-ended prompt questions and see what comes of it in the chat, either here or on Facebook. And then, afterwards we'll put it all back together and see what comes of it. So some of these are a little silly. Some of them are kind of direct, but just, be creative. We're not looking for anything specific. Just comment whatever comes to mind first. First one's pretty easy, pretty obvious. If you could describe South Pittsburg in, say, 1 or 2 words, what would they be? So take as much time as you need to comment in the chat. If you're on Facebook, comment in the comments below.
Oh, Carrie, go for it. How would you describe South Pittsburg in 1 word?
Oh, you're putting
you on the spot.
I even knew what the questions were. You'd think I would have an answer. I think it's just a place that's really about people. I think at the heart of it, it's about people who love to get together, people who love to be there for each other. But at the beginning of each of those sentences, for me, it's about the people.
Yep, seeing some good comments rolling in now. We got lovely spirit. I love that. Small, cozy, very good. Yeah, cozy is a good one. I put welcoming. Just because I moved here, I didn't grow up here, and I still, to this day, 12 years later, feel welcomed.
Yeah. Mountains, music, and outdoor activities. Yeah, I'm all about that. So for me, it's when often I wake up in the morning, I get up early, and as the sun starts to come up, I start to see that little glint of magenta on the horizon, and it starts to turn. I can't get my clothes on fast enough, and I go down to the Blue Bridge, and I watch that glint of sunrise as it floats over, it paints the sky and floats over the river. And for me, it's all about that color. I just think of that magenta gold sunrise.
And, you know, we'll keep rolling, but feel free to just put anything in the chat you think of, you know, even if it's a past question. Next one is kind of related, but more of a juxtaposition. But what makes South Pittsburg different than any other town? You know, there are lots of small towns with a lot of the same things as us, but what's different about South Pittsburg? A lot of it will be probably the same answers as the first question, but
Walkability.
different angles.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it's a good one.
Yeah, you really can walk anywhere in this town. I mean, one of the good things about us is that we're rural and we're small and we're compact. We're nestled in between. Ivan, we're there's a cove just near me is Happy Hollow. There's two mountains, and Happy Hollow comes off South Pittsburg Mountain and it V's out to 2 points, and then it's a triangle with the river. So we're compact.
Oh, wow.
2 mountains and the river, and literally you can walk this town almost every street in 2 hours if you're a fast walker.
Okay.
True. It's love of cornbread. It's
Yep.
a true.
Love of cornbread.
You know, maybe
I
not.
think the
ahead.
volunteerism spirit.
Yeah, I think that's on the phone. Can somebody type that in for her? So we have it recorded. I mean, that's huge.
And I'm writing all this down just so everybody knows. So if you hear me being quiet and looking down, it's because I'm writing all this down and everything. So yeah.
So we have a big festival here, Ivan, called National Cornbread Festival.
Okay.
On the last full weekend in April, we haven't had it the past 2 years because of COVID. But on the last full weekend in April, we have our population of the town is 3,000. It grows to 30,000. In 2 days, we have 30,000 people here.
And it's all 3,000 of those people that put it on.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
School club, every sports team, you know, we're all picking up trash. We're all cleaning our front lawns. It's really amazing.
And it's really kind of cool how our county has also, like, even down into Alabama, it's grown so much, and that we've kind of opened our gates to say, look, we can't do this on our own. We want help. And so there are different school groups and folks who come up to help out because they enjoy it. Once you come and enjoy the festival enough, then you start to say, well, hey, how can I help this? You know, and so we welcome people from around.
All right, just to keep things moving, I'll go to the next question. And this one doesn't have to be specific to South Pittsburg. I want it to be more specific to you. Just what inspires you on a daily basis? You know, like Dale said, he wakes up and sees the magenta on the horizon. You know, what are some things that you look forward to every day, inspirationally?
I look forward to the pandemic being over so I can hug everybody again, so we can meet in person. But I mean, I'm being funny, but I love seeing the people and the smiling faces. You know, Steve Areno's is a local restaurant that a lot of people go to, and I used to go once or twice a week. And the really cool thing, when people came in, it's kind of like Cheers. You know, it's hey Walker, you know, and you know 10, 15 people right away. But here's the really, really cool thing. If someone from out of town comes in, they get the same kind of welcome, maybe not right away, but if they sit at the bar, it takes 2 or 3 seconds for somebody to say, hey, where are you from? You know, and so we're by and large a friendly bunch of people that want to welcome people into our community. And, you know, some small rural communities you go into, you don't get that vibe. You get a little, you're an outsider. You don't get that here.
Yeah. Oh, that's very nice.
All right. This next one's a little fun. If South Pittsburg were an animal.
That's a very important question, by the way.
So Ivan, tell them a little bit about what you incorporate plants and animals.
True.
Tell them about your process.
So basically, the way I like to paint murals, I mainly like to do animals, and I like to do a lot of flowers and plants, as you know, because in a way I get to sort of play on what's a very typical style of my own hometown. That's how I leave my mark, but I use the animals that are relative to the community and relative to the area. You get me? So that way, everyone that resides in that community can relate to it. Like for example, when I painted in Manchester, I painted the American eel, and it's actually an endangered freshwater species, and not too many people knew about that was actually endangered. So it created this like awareness to the animal, but it's actually a really common fish in the area, And I brought in the iris as well, which again another common flower. And I believe it, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's the state flower
It's
as
the
well.
state flower.
Oh,
So that's something as well, and same with any other place or any type of message. You get me? I try to put it through there, So yeah, I mean that's what it is. So when you think of that, think about animals that would signify the area or are native to the area, and then what I'll do is I go and I research the symbolism, and then ultimately I create a concept behind it all.
So Ivan, I'm seeing in the comments a lot of a white-tailed deer, and we do. I have at least 2 in my yard every day, and sometimes 12 to 15. Yeah. So we have a lot of white-tailed deer. I'm seeing possum, which is a pretty.
It seems to be the consensus. You could live anywhere in town now. I think even downtown, you see deer.
Yeah.
Squirrels, tons of squirrels.
Squirrels.
Yeah.
I'd never seen deer like in people's yards and all that. So I had actually gone to Texas, and it was awesome. There was deer everywhere in people's houses and people's yards, and I was amazed. Like my family, they, we love deer. So I'm like, man, my family will go crazy if they see this.
Yeah, well, I have deer trails and deer beds in my backyard, and I'm not the only one, I promise you. Yeah. Squirrels.
Let's keep this train of thought going and shift it from animals to if South Pittsburg were a plant or let's just say a natural phenomenon of some sort.
Yeah. I love iris. It is a state
specific flower. You mentioned an iris.
Yeah. Pecan tree, cedar tree. We have a lot of magnolias. Red buds are out right now. Yeah. Tulip popular. It's a state tree, I believe.
Yep.
Got a lot of oak trees.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Carolina Hatfield. All of our streets are named after trees, Ivan.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah, cedar, elm, magnolia. Yeah, our main thoroughfare is cedar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So cedar. Okay.
Fireworks.
Awesome. This definitely helps a lot. Because when I'll go and research a lot, a lot of the time it'll be to the entire state in general. So it's always good to get that that localness, so we'll be able to know what's more common in that area,
And I think it might also be pertinent to explain here, there are lots of different types of murals out there. And our aim with this is not to create, what you call the kind of kitchen sink mural where it's every single representation of everything you can think of for South Pittsburg on one wall, a collage of things. We want to create a true piece of art here, which Ivan's known for, and it be open to interpretation of these things we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I like to consider myself a contemporary muralist. That basically it's kind of like it gives you a little bit more way of thinking, and it has and it carries a lot of elements from like a lot of my work is heavily inspired by fashion designers as well. Coming from Miami, you get me, like seeing the Versace mansion and seeing a lot of the flash to it kind of helps create this helped me create this kind of very vibrant murals. And just like you said about the sunsets and sunrises, same here. Like there'll be times here where I'm out there we're about to go fishing, And, there's nothing like seeing that sunrise coming across the water, and then, looking at the skyline. It's just, it's beautiful, really,
So I was talking to, absolutely, and it's, for me, the sunrise, the aurora is new life. It's the world waking up again. And I can't say who it is just yet, but I was speaking with our featured musical performance, and they are collaborating. He is collaborating with a dance group that I can't name just yet until we get everything finalized. But one of the things that in their collaboration they were talking about is how the river is constant while we change, but our town changes slowly. So, but the river is a constant kind of a lifeblood running through us. So there's that element of the river as well.
I thought it was interesting. Folks put fireworks in here, and that's always been sort of a fun celebratory thing that we do at literally every event that we get together. There are fireworks.
That's very nice.
It's a big business here in town, and still is. People come from all over and come get their fireworks at Atomic Fireworks, and but at every event we have fireworks, and people love them. So when I thought about colors, and we used to shoot them off over the river, and we shoot them off over the football field, and so there's something fun and exciting there too.
Okay. Let's see. Awesome.
So that's it really for the questions. I left a hanging one that if you can think of any other examples of murals that you've seen in the past that you like, just put them in the chat as we close up the meeting here. Or just any other themes you want to put in the chat. We're recording all of this. And
yeah, any questions that you guys, the community, have, or even the organizers, please don't hesitate to ask us this, because the more I know, the better it helps me form something very congruent and very cohesive.
I think that's a good point. Does anyone have a question for any of us about art? I can talk a little bit about Arts in the Berg before we leave, but specifically about the mural from Ivan, or about Spark from Carrie and Walker, or Arts in the Berg for me. Just go ahead and put those in the chat now, and we can address those.
And also something I wanted to bring, because I remember, Dale, you were talking about creative placemaking, and I just want to give you guys an example of the impact that mural has, and how quickly it can develop an area. So there's a famous neighborhood in Miami known as Wynwood, and it was so about 11 or so years ago, it was known as a really bad neighborhood. It was very rough. The only people that really would go there it was a lot of industrial warehouses, and there were some houses in the neighborhood and whatnot, and but because it was rather affordable, lots of artists started going into the area. They started painting, and they started doing murals, and then an underground scene started building itself. And I was very fortunate to be in there for a good 10 years before it became it just grew so big that it's amazing. I see it now, and it's like so say, for example, right, somebody owned a property there, a house, for like 100,000, and say they paid 100,000 for it. That same person that probably had it for 100,000 or 70,000 or something was able to eventually sell it off for like over $1 million, and within that short span, because of the murals and the amount of art that was coming in, and beautifying the area. You get me? And then you also bring in art tourism as well, because you'll have a lot of people that they travel from city to city, just going and seeing murals and visiting and whatnot, because like I've said this plenty of times in the past, a mural is like a landmark. You get me? So I go over there and I do this mural, and it's for you guys, the community. I make it specific for you guys. I think about you guys while I'm doing it, the experience while I'm there. It's like this whole energy. It's like I create a child of mine, and it's there for the world to see. And you guys basically own it. It belongs to you more than it does to me. It belongs to South Pittsburg, and that's something I want you guys to understand. You get me? And then the more murals, you get me? Because what happens is, which I'm pretty sure once I go paint there, you're gonna start having a bunch of my muralist friends are gonna start writing to you guys saying, you know, oh, I want to paint South Pittsburgh. Oh, it looks like an amazing project. You know, it'll be a huge honor to be able to go and paint there, because, you know, us as muralists, you know, it's not about the money. It's not about you know, any type of glitz or glamour or anything like that. It's about going and meeting new people, and you know, and learning about the culture, and just like really getting involved. You get me? And playing a part of history is probably the biggest honor of it all. You know,
That's beautiful. Yeah. And if I can sell my house for $1 million, I will double your pay on this.
mind you, that's just an extreme example of like
I know.
of how fast
But
it goes.
but we
There's
did, yeah.
there's a
As
lot
we were,
of. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm just saying there's a lot of districts in you know, in America, like they're popping up because they see how it works and how it brings in this whole new you know, this whole new culture of just like liveliness and just art and whatnot.
Yeah. There's no doubt. There's a lot of good examples. And actually, I saw that someone, Chrissy Collier, actually knew the area you were talking about. What was it? Wind walls, or she called it wind walls?
Yeah, Wynwood.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But there's the Rhino district in Colorado.
Yep.
Obviously, I mean, there's just a lot, and even like we did a little case study on Salida, Colorado, Salida. But it's a town about the size of ours. We're 3,000, they're 5,000, and they just started this process as well. You know, a few years back with murals, and now they have 30 art galleries. You know, they had nothing before. Now, you know, they have 30 art galleries. It's amazing. Yeah. So, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. Someone had asked about a way to donate. I'm going to post a link in chat real quick. Carrie or Walker, if you want to talk while I find this and post it.
Yes, we are raising money for partly to do all the things we want to do at the launch party. There's additional funds to be raised for those initiatives, as well as when the art studio finds its home, the Arts Incubator. We will be hopefully revitalizing a space, and that also takes money. And then Spark in general fosters a number of programs right now. The big focus is Arts in the Burg, but you've seen us talk about being a river town. So that's another program where we're constantly looking for grant opportunities. On many of those cost money. We have to have matching money. So the answer is wherever your heart desires, there's lots of opportunity. Arts in the Burg, there are donation opportunities either through the Spark page or through the artsintheburg.com or Spark, I think it's spwalker.org.
Org.
Thank you. Maybe we can get that in the chat. And then
Definitely visit both those pages just to learn more about, you know, both our organizations.
And there's so many, that's the other thing Ivan and Carolina Hatfield kind of touches on some of that. History is also a really big part of our community. We have these most gorgeous old homes. And I was going to say this earlier when we were talking about the streets. We were a planned town, which doesn't happen for every rural town out there. And so we are a gridded street system with, you know, I think it's first all the way through maybe 20. You guys can correct me. And then we have those go one way, and then we have the streets that are named after, in alphabetical order for the most part, are the trees. And then at that time, there were all these varying types of old homes for different types of history. And the folks here that are historians, because there's so many, we have a historical preservation society. They have revitalized numerous locations, and we have this beautiful Princess Theater on downtown on our main avenue. So it is super important to us, the revitalization of not only our downtown district, but also our beautiful homes that we have, and they're very important to us. So having a rich history is also something we hang our hat on.
That's awesome. That's good too. I'm happy to hear that.
So as we wrap this up a little bit, I want to talk about Arts in the Burg just 2 seconds. and kind of explain what Arts in the Berg is. And the best way to do that is to read our very succinct mission statement, which is Arts in the Berg provides working studio space open to the public that nurtures artists, promotes creative placemaking, as well as programming and entertainment to develop a unique travel destination in South Pittsburgh. So as we break that down, what is a working artist studio? A working artist studio is not just a studio space that artists can come and go whenever they want, they can, but they have to be there 15 hours a week. Will be open from Wednesday to Saturday, 26 hours. So that guarantees that if you come to visit, and we hope to have somewhere around 25 artists. It depends. We're working on a maker's studio space that may or may not happen, but we hope to have glass blowers, pottery studio, textile, iron workers, and those types of things. Iron artists, not iron workers. And then in a separate building, we'll have visual artists and that type of thing. So, but I say all that to say, those are working studios so that when you go, it's kind of like going to Gatlinburg, walking down the street and you see the taffy being made in the window. You go, oh my goodness, look at that. Even if you don't like taffy, you have to stop and look because something's being made. So that's what we're doing with Arts in the Berg. You'll be able to go in, gallery up front, some sort of food or entertainment in the back, so it pulls people through the space. Working studios that are open, you can go in, chat with the artist, buy their work, and thereby supporting them. So that's what a working studio is, and will help nurture artists by giving them exposure, marketing. Will help with their training. If they have obstacles, they come in and say, hey, we don't really know how to price something. We'll get a guest speaker to come in and talk about pricing art, or being a part of a museum, or being a part of a gallery somewhere else. What is that process? So we'll help emerging artists as well as established artists. And then we talk about creative placemaking and what that is, but really in a succinct fashion, it's when artists and community come together and they integrate their efforts into revitalization. We've talked about that. And then here's what we know. So if you build it, they will come. So if you have a beautiful mural, like Ivan was talking about, if we turn that alley space into a mural coated event space, people will come. They want to see it. And it was, as we grow outward. Same with Arts in the Berg and the working studio spaces. If we provide entertainment, programming, education, and the working artists, people will hear about it. They'll want to come. They'll want to come visit often to see what's new. So we know that. If anybody questions it, because on the last full weekend in April, we bring 25 to 30,000 people in one weekend. I think we want to start by having 500 to 1,000 people every weekend in our downtown. And then, Ivan, we've got a lot of old buildings here with boards in the windows and not being taken care of. So eventually, those properties will either be sold, or the owners will see the benefit in fixing them up and leasing them to retail and hospitality type things. And like you said, before you know it, we have a vibrant community again. And we started with one mural. Yeah, you'll be the godfather of it.
Well, I'm honored, guys. I really am, and I'm excited to meet everyone in person and to be able to create something beautiful for you guys. Hopefully, the community accepts it and embraces it with open arms.
Yeah, beautiful. Any other questions?
Do you want to recap?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, the next steps from here, like with the timeline we should expect.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds to pull that up.
Sure.
All right, so Ivan's going to go away from this. We'll quantify. He took a lot of good notes. We'll quantify all the chat comments, and then he will come back to us by 4/11. So the 11th of next month, he'll have a couple of sketches for us that we will post on the website and probably social media. But however we do, we may announce it on social media for you to go vote on the website and take a look at the two sketches. So you'll get to vote. So we'll take all this input. I'm going to do 2 fabulous sketches. You'll have a hard time deciding but the community will decide, and then we'll go forward. And I think Ivan is, I think we said the 28th, Ivan, is that correct? You,
to do the mural, I believe.
May 28th.
Yes, I know it's the last. Give me one second. Hold on. Yeah, so basically it would be. Let me see. Yeah, I have to look back at but I think it's the last week of May leading into June, or it's the first week of June. It's somewhere in those lines.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then, so from there, guys, we'll have a finished mural. And this is going on, I think I said, this is going on the wall, the Walker Oil Building wall behind the Princess Theater. And I can probably share a screen real quick to give you guys a scope.
And just jumping in there, I can't wait for you all to go and drive by the alley. And actually this past week, the city is a part of this grant process and supporting it. And so they are offering a number in kind, is what we call it, when they're able to help us out. So they are pressure washing and will eventually prime that wall to help us get ready for the wall. It's just a big job without the right equipment, and they are doing that for us, supporting this, because this space is the community's, this alleyway. And so we're hoping to have lots of activity back there. So they've already started. So next time you see those, the crew, please let them know thank you. And Dale will show you what it looks like. Yeah. So it's getting a facelift right now, just to get it to the point Ivan can begin his work. And then if you see, I think that might be me in the center behind that person right there, there is a short wall that goes further back down the alley. Ivan is also going to, I believe it's Ivan or someone is going to paint that and just create a white space there. And we're going to call that the ever-changing wall, so that anyone who wants to come out and paint on it, and it can kind of like the ever-changing rock at the University of Tennessee, there's different places around that you can come and do your own art there. And so we think that'll be pretty cool. So it'll be right next to Ivan's piece.
Yeah, Ivan, we're going to prep that out, Ivan, and that's not a part of. But what we'll do is we'll have that prepped out for June 26th, our launch party. We should talk about that just a little bit before we leave. But so we'll have that prepped out, and we'll have a couple of local artists there to. If you come up and you're not an artist at all, you can still be a part of the art by saying, hey, I'd like to put a flower here, or can you draw this for me? And we'll have an artist help you draw that on that day. And then moving forward, we'll probably do this with chalk, so that we can start afresh every now and then, or with portions of it, but it will be the ever-changing wall. And even on days when we're not there, you can come down and get your creativity on and draw on the ever-changing wall. So we really do want our community and our region to be a part of the art. This is all about being open and engaging, and not saying, here, look what I did. It's here, look what we did together. So
that leads right into, hey, anybody want to volunteer?
Yeah.
As we get closer, or even now, I know a number of you have been helping Dale on the marketing committee, and we've also got folks who are on our Spark crew as well. But there is always something to do, and especially as we prepare for this event. Thank goodness things seem to be going in the right direction as far as the virus. We've been taking that very seriously, just to note that. And we are watching and taking all the precautions that we should. And I saw Christy, yes, the art club, we are super excited and super happy to have to be a part of them. We're working on some other projects with them on through Spark and the manhole covers. But yes, we would love to have that crew helping us. So we welcome you all, offer your talents. Thanks, Paige. Paige is a fabulous volunteer, always helping with Cornbread Festival. So talk to your friends and let us know what you're interested in. We kind of gathered a list of good volunteers before COVID, and we're going to start calling you up. So it'll make it a community event. It'll feel really good to get back to normal.
Now, a quick question. So is corn a major crop in your guys' community?
No, I'll let
Gotcha.
But so our town, this was a great thing that happened almost 25 years ago now. We have lodge manufacturing, which we failed to talk about, and we should. Lodge manufacturing is one of the biggest manufacturers here. So again, it's a maker of cast iron skillets, and it's one of the biggest distributors, if not the biggest manufacturer and distributor of cast iron skillets in the United States. But I'm remiss if I don't turn this over to Carrie or Walker. They work at Lodge, so they can tell you more about it. And it was that relationship with cast iron and Martha White flour sponsorship that made for a great festival. And Carrie, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was born out of there was a highway called Highway 72, and it came off the interstate, and it used to go straight through the center of town. And so all these transfer trucks were coming through, and the nice thing was it kept traffic and travelers coming through our town, and therefore economic times were good. And then they created a bypass because the transfers became more of a problem. And when they bypassed our town, like they did so many other small towns across America, it really hurt us. And so there were a group of community leaders, think back in like 1995, who got the concept of putting on a, Beth tells us better than me, I don't know where she is at the moment, but a grand festival. And we decided to tie the things that we had, our assets, which were, we have cast iron, and we love cast iron, and we love to cook, and we're Southern, we love to cook cornbread, and we were friends with Martha White cornbread. And so it was born. Beth, you can edit me anyway.
Awesome.
Well, it really, it came out of a party, like most things do around here, because South Pittsburg is such a social town, and it was just an event to showcase how much we all loved this town and wanted people to come enjoy it. And cornbread's cast iron's best friend, so it just all melted together.
Yeah, it works. I mean, we have had up to 35,000 people come here, and so everybody comes out, like the teachers and PTO, they work the gates, and the high school kids work literally every shift you can imagine, from recycling to garbage to, I mean, everybody's got a job, if not multiple, and it's the most fun. We love it.
That's all.
And every dollar the
When
festival
is the
makes.
festival?
What?
Oh, when is the festival?
Well, it's postponed this year. TBD.
Oh, okay.
Normally,
It's usually the last full weekend in April, and all the money that's raised goes back into the community. It's a total volunteer event.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Over $1 million.
We'll have to definitely come back for that eventually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
we will treat you well when you come here, Ivan. Don't you worry.
I'm excited, guys. Really am. Thank you.
All right. What else? I think we've covered just about everything. I know we'll end the meeting and think of something else, but if you do, you can always reach out to us either via the Spark page or the Arts and the Bird page. And if you want to volunteer, I think I put on there a volunteer link. There's also on the website, if you go to the top menu, it says get involved. And there's several ways to get involved, whether you want to do a food truck, the entertainment during the launch party, just a lot of ways to be involved. So just reach out and don't hesitate to tell us what you want to do. Ivan, thank you so much. It's good to see you in motion.
Same.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dale. Thanks, Carrie.
Okay.
Thanks, Walker. And thank you guys so much, South Pittsburg. Look forward to meeting everyone.
Okay. Beautiful.
Have a good one. Good night, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
Bye.